Hello students, there is a heartily welcome to semester 3rd of your program, and here I am taking a new course, group theory, and this is the first part of group theory. In your semester 5th you will study the second part of group theory, and this course code is MBH302. This course is based on group, which is very useful for computer architecture. Before studying about the group, we will understand an algebraic structure. First, we will understand what is an algebraic structure. A set of some elements, suppose we have three elements, 1, 2 and 3, and a algebraic operator. Here we are taking suppose algebraic operator plus. We can choose any other operator or it can be given in your problem. So we will discuss on this set. Here there are three elements and this is a operator. These elements can be associated to others with this operator sign. That is, we can calculate 1 plus 2, we can calculate 2 plus 3, we can calculate 3 plus 1 and so on. The commutative property is also allowed here. So these operations can be performed on these elements. So this structure will known as an algebraic structure. An algebraic structure is said to be a group if it satisfies these four properties. If it satisfies these four properties, then we can say that this structure or this set of element is a group. First property is closure axiom. This property states that if A belongs to Z, B belongs to Z. Here G is an algebraic structure. It means it is a set and having an algebraic operator O. Then the composition of A with B will also be available in Z. For an example, suppose 1 belongs to the set G, 2 is also belongs to the set G. Then their sum must also be available, that is 1 plus 2, or we can say that 1 operation 2, it must be available in G. This property is known as closure axiom. Second is identity axiom. Identity axiom say that there must be an element which is known as identity element in such a way that if we operate this element to another element, then there will be no change on this element. This is known as identity axiom. Similarly, there is an inverse axiom. Inverse axiom say that for every element of A of a group Z, there must be another element, say set A inverse, that the operation of A and A inverse, if we operate A on A inverse, then we must got identity element. This is known as inverse axiom. And the fourth property is associative axiom. Associative axiom means we can associate A, here we can associate first B with C, and or first we can associate A with B and after with C. It means we can associate these elements in any order. This is known as associativity axiom. If an algebraic structure satisfies these four properties, then it's said to be a group. So the conclusion is a group must satisfy these four properties. First is closure, second is identity, third is inverse, and fourth is associativity. However, if a algebraic structure satisfies only first property, that is closure axiom, then it is known as groupoid or quasi group. It is a part of a or special type of group, but it is not a complete group. And in this continuation, if an algebraic structure satisfies closure and associativity, then it is known as semi-group or demi-group. It means it is satisfying only two properties. First property is closure and second property associativity. This is last. And if it is also satisfy identity axiom, it means it is having three properties. First is closure, second is associativity, and third is identity. Here it is not satisfying inverse property. So in this situation we say that our structure is monoid. So these are some types of groups. Now there is one more property, which is commutative property. Commutative property states that if you are operating A with B, or you operate B with A, and in both situations you get same result, then this is known as commutative property. If a group is satisfying commutative axiom also, then it is known as abelian group or commutative group. If our group having finite number of elements, it means G has finite number of elements, then it is known as finite group. However, if it has infinite number of elements, many elements, then it is known as infinite group. For example, set of integers, set of real numbers, set of complex numbers, these are infinite group. Now we will take some problems based on finite groups. Let us see one example related to finite group. Here an algebraic structure G having three elements, 1 omega and omega square. Here omega is the cube root of unity. Then the operator is star, it means it is multiply. Multiply is the operator in this algebraic structure. So we have to prove that this G means 1 omega and omega square, this is with operation star multiply. We have to prove that this is a abelian group. It means we will prove here 5 properties. First we will understand something about omega. What will be the cube root of 1? Let us suppose the cube root of 1, this is equal to x. So we can say that x cube minus 1 will be equal to 0. If we factorize it, we get x minus 1 into x square plus x plus 1. This is equal to 0. If we compare this first part with 0, then we get x equal to 1. So 1 is the root of this equation. Next, because this is a cubic equation, so it must have 2 more roots. So we have one another part to find these 2 roots. This is x square plus x plus 1, and we will calculate that root by factorizing this equation by using Sridharacharya method. So here we get 2 more complex roots, and we are denoting these roots by using symbol omega and omega square. We are denoting that roots by omega and omega square. So there are 3 roots. As 1 is the cube root of unity, so 1 to the power 3, this will be equal to 1, because we can take from here x cube must be equal to 1. So all these 3 roots must satisfy this equation. So if we take omega here, so it gives omega cube will be equal to 1. So this is one more important result, omega cube equal to 1. Now we have constructed here a composition table. In composition table we have multiplied each element by each. Here we are writing these 3 elements in first in row wise and second is column wise. This is the operation. Now we are multiplying this 1 into 1, 1, 1 into omega, omega, 1 into omega square, omega into 1, this is equal to omega, omega into omega, omega square, and omega is being multiplied with omega square, then we get omega cube, and we know that omega cube equal to 1. Similarly, omega square into 1, omega square into omega, omega cube, which is again equal to 1, and omega square into omega square, which is omega to the power 4, and omega to the power 4 can be decomposed as omega to the power 3 into omega, and the value of this omega cube is 1. So we get here result omega. Now we will check these 4 operations. First is closure axiom. Here we see that the product of each to each element is available in this composition table. It means after applying multiply between any two elements, the result is not out from this set. Here we see that if we multiply 1 by 1, then we get 1, and if we multiply 1 by these three elements, then we get these three elements, and all these three are belongs to this G. Again, if we are multiplying omega by any elements, then we get these three results, and these are also belongs to G. And if we multiply omega square by these three elements, then we get these exactly these three results. So we say that the multiplication of each to each element is available in our G, so we can say that closure axiom satisfy. The next property is identity axiom. Now we will check identity axiom is satisfied or not. Is there any element available in this G? After multiplying that element in every element or in any element, we get the same result. Here we are checking that if we multiply this 1 by 1, then we get 1. There is no change on this element. If we multiplying this 1 by 1, it means 1 is its own identity element. Now for omega, we will check in which situation we get again omega. It means this is here. If we multiply this omega by 1, then we get omega. So 1 is also the identity element for this omega. Similarly, if we multiply this omega square by 1, then we get omega square. So by this composition table, we can say that 1 is the identity element of each element. It means 1 is the identity element of this set Z. So identity element is available for every element. Again, in composition table, we see that if we multiply 1 by 1, then we get 1. Now actually here we are checking that for each element, how we can get identity. We know that 1 is the identity element. In our previous step, we have checked that 1 is an identity element. So we try to find then what element must be multiplied this 1 to get 1. So it is obvious 1. So if we multiply 1 by 1, then we get 1. This is our identity, and we want result identity, and this is our element, and this is the inverse. So if we multiply this 1 by 1, then we get 1. Again, what element must be multiplied by omega to get 1? Here we must multiply this omega by omega square, so we will get omega cube, and the value of omega cube is 1. So we can say that omega square is the inverse of omega, that is the inverse of element omega is omega square. Similarly, if we multiply in omega square by omega, then we will get omega cube, which is equal to 1. So we can say that the inverse of omega square is again omega, and here we have checked the inverse of each element. So the inverse axiom is satisfied for each element. So it is satisfied. Now the fourth property is associative axiom. Here we are multiplying these elements in this order. First omega, omega square, omega, and omega into omega square, this is omega cube, and omega cube is again 1, and 1 into 1 is 1. Now we are applying here associativity. First we are trying to multiply 1 with this omega, then we get omega, and omega into omega square, which is equal to omega cube, which is also equal to 1. So here we see that the associative axiom is also satisfied. Similarly, in composition table, we see that the product of every two element is commutative. If we multiply this omega by omega square, then we will get the same result, which we will find by multiplying this omega square by omega. So we can see that in composition table, it is clear that commutative axiom is satisfied for every element. So here we can say that this algebraic structure having elements 1 omega and omega square with respect to multiplication is a group, and here there is a finite number of elements, so we can say that obviously it is a finite group. So this is a finite abelian group because it is satisfying all the 5 properties, so we can say that this is the abelian group. In our next lecture we will take some more examples related to the finite group, and after that we will study about infinite group. Thank you.